Hey my good friends, Sam Haymart for Test Driven TV. I've been spending the week with something completely different, the 2017 Smart ForTwo Cabrio. Before we get out on the drive, we've got to talk about styling because, I mean, look at it. This car, when I first saw it, the first thing I thought was, it looks like a puffer fish. Now, I had a puffer, and I used to look at it in the tank, and it would sit there and float and look at me from the other side of the glass with those big eyes and that mouth hanging open with a little bit of a smile. Looks just like this to me, and I think it's cute as all hell. Now, this does have a couple of options on it. This does have the black grille right here, and this is a metallic paint option, which is pretty spendy, actually. One nice cool thing here is these lights. They've got LED signatures that light up. I don't know if you can see that there in the picture or not, but it really is pretty cool when you're behind other vehicles at the stoplight, especially a big truck that's reflective. Kind of looks like that pufferfish looking back at you from the glass. Worth noting here are a few options. Right here we've got the 16-inch alloy wheels. Those are an option, one step up from the base. Now you also see we've got two-tone coloring going on here. These are plastic panels all around. The big white you see here, that is the Tritium safety cell. That is the steel safety cage that surrounds the passenger compartment. You can get that in white and a number of other colors, so you can really customize this thing and dress it up and really make it look pretty cool. Now, this is a convertible also. The big thing with the convertible is the fact that you can put this top down in a number of ways. You can roll it back about halfway, just like a big sunroof, or you can go all the way back and stack the thing down very much like you used to see on a classic Volkswagen Beetle convertible. Then, these big white panels up here on top, they can actually be removed to give you the full convertible experience, and those store in a handy little area there on the rear deck lid where you can strap them down and keep them from rolling around in your trunk. And lastly, I have to point out one big thing of note here, these lines. This is a standard parking space. This car is only 9 feet long. 9 feet long. It fits sideways in a standard parking space. How many other cars can you do that with? And I'll point out that they do compare this to the Fiat 500C, which is a very small car. The Fiat 500C is actually 2.5 feet longer than this is. You couldn't do this with a Fiat 500C. At the back of the Smart ForTwo, we've got some pretty cute looking taillights, and that color sort of wraps around here when you do the two-tone thing. Now, because this is a convertible, it doesn't have a full hatch. Instead, you've got a small little trunk opening that it folds down like a tailgate. Power, of course. Down below, you've got a big chrome exhaust tip for that 3-cylinder engine. So if you thought this thing was really extroverted on the outside, check out this interior. How many cars have you ever seen with a bright white and sky blue interior? This is just... it's like Mattel, Hasbro, but I like it. It's just fun. Obviously, I've got a thing for fun cars. I think the big takeaway here is that it's comfortable. These are manually adjustable seats. They're heated, and they're cloth center, and then it has a vinyl on the outside. They're very nice. They're actually pretty comfortable. And the big thing about this car, even though it's a little car, is the fact that it feels much larger than it is when you're behind the wheel here. You have a high seating position, just like a crossover or a lot of the big sedans that are out there right now. So when you're going down the road, you're at eye level with a lot of those vehicles. Also, the windshield is far enough out in front of you that it's just like a standard car. So from this interior, you really don't feel like you're in something quite this small. And that's a big deal because perception often is what gives you that sense of safety. It's what gives you that sense of confidence behind the wheel, is not feeling like you're exposed. And in my driving with this vehicle this week, I certainly haven't felt exposed. The overall design of this interior, obviously it's playful. And the other thing I'm really impressed with here is the quality of the materials. This is a car that starts out in the teens, below $20,000. And the plastics, the fit and finish in here, even though it's not Mercedes level quality, for this price you wouldn't expect it, but it does feel like something of quality. Everything fits together, very little in the way of rattles. When it comes to storage, not a great deal of storage here. You've got an innovative little drawer down here that slides out for little things. You've got cup holders, not really a big place for your phone. There's map pockets in the doors. Now the trunk on this one, pretty small. Now if you had the hatchback, it's got a little bit more of a wide open space there, but because we do have the Cabrio here, that's really quite a bit smaller. So the rear gate folds down just like a tailgate, and you've got a little bit of a storage area in there. And also, this does have an armrest. This is an option, but no storage in it. So yeah, there are a few trade-offs for getting a car that's really made for having fun, less so for practicality, but I'm still pretty impressed. 4 out of 5 stars for the interior. Now, the infotainment, obviously this is pretty simple stuff here. We don't have a big touch screen, we don't have navigation, we don't have the big fancy stuff that we find in a lot of cars, even some cars out there for this price. It's a very simple radio. It does have Bluetooth connectivity, and you can plug into it with USB or an auxiliary port, and the audio quality is actually pretty decent for what I'm considering a pretty basic audio system. I've got JBL speakers in the doors, so say the logos, and so the sound quality is pretty good. Using it's very easy, so technology here gets an easy 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, so this is normally the part of the video where I pop the hood and show you the engine, but I can't do that here because it's hidden down here behind the bumper under the trunk floor. Very small engine. It's a 0.9 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's rated at 89 horsepower. It has 100 pound-feet of torque. And while you can get a 5-speed manual now, this has the 6-speed dual-clutch twinamic automatic transmission. In this particular trim with a convertible, the EPA rates it at 33 mpg city, 38 mpg highway, and 35 mpg combined. All right. So the first question I always ask is, how does it go? Well, it's not a Porsche. But see, here's the thing. This has 89 horsepower. This car weighs around 2,150 pounds. My 84 GTI weighed about 2,100 pounds and it had 90 horsepower. That was a fun car to drive. This isn't exactly fast, but it has a sprightliness. It's spunky. It has enough power that, because it is small, 89 horsepower, that's actually enough to move it with some degree of certainty. Now, because this does have the twin-clutch, twinamic automatic transmission, when I first got into this car, I was apprehensive because I'd read lots of things about it, people complaining. Now, we do have paddle shifters here, and they do work. Now, a lot of journalists have really bitched and complained about this transmission, to be quite frank. The last generation Smart with the previous generation transmission was horrid from what I've read. I've never driven one. When I first started driving this, I did notice that it was a little bit less than refined. It wasn't exactly like an automatic transmission. Its shifts were a little bit abrupt. Taking off from a stop takes a little bit of getting used to. But the reality is after I spent the week with this car and really got used to the way it behaves, it's not so bad. Yeah, it's not quite as refined as the DSG you'd find in a Volkswagen GTI, but it really isn't that bad. And using these paddle shifters, you get better shifts with these paddle shifters than a lot of expensive cars with paddle shifters give you. And it has enough power to be fun to drive, especially when you've got this convertible goodness going on here. Now, so there's that. So if you've read bad things about this transmission, I'd suggest you go drive it a little bit yourself, spend an hour with it, because that's about all it took for me to really get used to it. So there's that. Now, fuel economy. This is rated at 35 mpg combined. Not very impressive when you consider everything you give up to have a tiny little car like this, right? You think, oh, I'm giving up safety, I'm giving up space, there's only 2 seats, no storage, and it's only getting 35 mpg. What? Well, it's a boutique car. You buy this because it's fun, because it's cute, not because it's not about fuel economy. But here's the thing, in my week with it, I actually achieved 40 mpg combined, way over what the window sticker said, so that was a good thing. That was a good thing. It actually overachieved. Still, at 40, I honestly, when I look at a car like this, for its size and all of that, I'm really thinking it should get 50, but still, 40 is not a terrible thing. It is better. So overall, this powertrain, it's pretty interesting. 3-cylinder turbo. It's not the smoothest, most refined thing in the world. The transmission takes a little bit of getting used to, but it does get good fuel economy. Overall, even though it's not a BMW, it's not a Mercedes-Benz, it doesn't kill the buzz. Powertrain gets 4 out of 5 stars. When it comes to ride and handling, this car's got something that no other car on the planet has. It's small, it's tiny, it's nimble. This thing steers so quick, and because it is so light and tiny, it's just very, very maneuverable. In fact, I'm going to deliberately forget to make my turn here just to show you the fact that this is the easiest car ever to make an illegal U-turn in. Just like that. There's no three-point turn in this thing, baby. So it's maneuverable. That's the big takeaway here. Woo! And this engine's just, it wants to go. All right, so it rides pretty nice. It's a pretty stiff ride. Now, because we're in a convertible, a little bit of cowl shake, just like any other convertible. You know, you feel a little bit of body flex, but the handling is pretty good. This nimble, this maneuverability that you get is backed up with a little bit of sportiness, a little bit of fun. Now, I will point out that when you get on the freeway for the first time, a little scary. It takes getting used to when you're going 70, 80 miles an hour in this thing, and it does top out right around 90 and some change. But it's a car that once you get used to it, and I think that's really the key word here, once you get used to it, it's all good. But my first time on the freeway on this thing, I was horrified just because crosswinds, things like that. But overall, chassis gets 4 out of 5 stars. If you watch my reviews, you know quality is a big thing I'm a stickler for. I look at all the panel joints, I look at the paint finish, I test the materials on the interior, something I really spend a lot of time listening to when I'm driving. Does it rattle? Things like that. And I'm pretty impressed with this car overall. Everything that's here is really commensurate with its price range. Therefore, quality comes in at 4 out of 5 stars. All right, my good friends, wrapping it up for the Smart ForTwo Cabrio. First of all, this is a car you buy because you fall in love with it. You think it's cute, it's fun. It's a boutique car, which means it doesn't make dollars and cents. It'll probably never be on the Consumer Reports Best Buy list, and if it is, I'm shocked, because at $23,000, a lot of options here, but still at this price, there are so many other cars you can buy that are larger, more powerful, safer, they get the same fuel economy, you can put more people in them. This is a car you buy because you just want one. So, you know, it's hard to put a value on a boutique car, but I'll try. I put it at 4 out of 5 stars. So when you put that in with everything we've already talked about, we're at 4 stars for the review. And did I mention it'll fit sideways in a parking space? All right, my friends, if you like the test drive you just saw, click on the round logo right there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I test drive 1 or 2 cars a week, plus there's a new video almost every other day. In fact, click on the square right there and see our latest test drive. Either way, stay tuned.